So I'm going to show you how to start off with the Starburst granny square. We're going to make these rounds and I will talk you through it. I've made in different colors, 2 different squares so far. I'm making 13 all up to join them to make a bag, but you can make them for blankets, whatever you wish to make the bag. You can do it with the bag, whatever, but I'm going to show you how to do it today. So I'm using this color first. I'm going to make a slip knot and attach it to my hook, chain 4, and then join it to make a circle. You can do a magic circle if you prefer. I just prefer to join to make my circle this way. And then I'm going to chain 3, which will count as my first double crochet. So at the moment, it looks like this. It doesn't look like much. I've got my circle here, and then I've got my chain 3. Now I'm going to make my double crochets into the center of this circle that I've made, into this loop. So I need to make 15 double crochets because that chain 3 counts as a stitch. So I yarn over into the circle, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So I'll show you again. A double crochet is yarn over and go into the center of your circle, insert your hook and pull up a loop, and you will have 3 loops on your hook. 1, 2, 3. Going to yarn over and pull through the first 2, yarn over and pull through the second 2. So now I have 3 double crochet on my hook, on my loop, sorry. I'm going to do it again. Yarn over into the circle, pull up a loop, 3 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And I'm just going to go around the circle until I have 16 double crochet total. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Now I'm going to show you how to count them. It's very important. I often have people say I don't know how many I have done. So I'm going to show you 2 different ways to count them. You can count them by counting these little V's. So you can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and then here's my chain 3, 16. Or you can count them by counting the posts. This yarn is probably not the best yarn color to see it on, but if you look here, you can count them by the post. So here's the post and here's the stitch. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and my chain 3 is my 16. All right, now I'm going to close off this round by joining it. So to do that, I need to join here to my first stitch that I made. So I've got my chain 3 here, 1, 2, 3. I need to join it to the top here, like so. Put my hook in and then yarn over and pull it through both to make a slip stitch. And then I'm going to change color for the next round, so I'm going to cut this off, leave a little bit of a tail to sew in my end, and then I am just going to yarn over and pull that all the way through like so and pull it tight, knots it off. Now I can pull the center of my circle is a little bit big, so I can use the tail on the starting tail. Get that one out of the way. I can use that to pull it tight and close the center of my circle up a little bit. Now I'm going to change colors. I'm going to change to this green to find my end and make a slip knot. Wrap it around, over, off and over, and then pull those two tight. And then I finished here. I don't like to start where I finish. I like to start a little bit away, so when I weave all my ends in, it's not all on the same, weaving them all in the same section. So I'm going to find where I want to start. I'll start with the purple one here. I'm going to put my hook into the top of that stitch, and then I'm going to attach my yarn. Just going to attach it loosely for this. I don't want it super tight, just loosely like so. And I'm going to pull that through and leave the knot on the back side of my work. And I'm going to chain one. I'm going to pull that chain one nice and tight. And then I'm going to make this loop a little bigger. And I'm going to start off with my puff stitch, which is in this one. It's the green round, which I'm doing right now. So I'm doing this puff stitch. To do this puff stitch, I'm going to crochet over my tail just to make it easier for me as well, for weaving in ends. I'm going to yarn over. I'm going to insert my hook into the stitch where I joined it. I'm going to yarn over and pull up a loop. So I now have 3 loops on my hook. Yarn over, insert my hook, pull up a loop. I have 5 loops on my hook now. Yarn over, insert my hook, pull up a loop, and I have 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 loops on my hook, and I've pulled them up nice and high. So you can see I've got a little gap there just here, and I'm going to yarn over and pull that yarn over through all 7 loops in one go on my hook, and it looks like this now. And then I'm going to chain 1 to lock that puff stitch, and then I'm going to make a puff stitch in each one around, so I will have 16 puff stitches. So I yarn over, insert my hook into the next stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop, and I have 3 loops on my hook. Yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull up a loop. 5 on my hook, yarn over, insert, pull up a loop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on my hook. Once I have 7 on my hook and I've pulled it up nice and high, so I've got a nice little gap under my hook, I can yarn over and pull that through all 7 in one go. And then I chain 1 and I lock that stitch. I'm just going to do that all the way around. And I pull it up. I like to do that and pull it up. I pull down on the bottom here and pull it up nice and high. And then my hook should just slide through nicely. If your tension is really tight, you will find a puff stitch maybe a little bit harder to do, because you'll find that your hook gets stuck sliding through. But if you've got a bit of a looser tension on this puff, then you'll find it much easier to slide it through. And pulling it up high like that before I yarn over and slide it through is always good. You can do your yarn over and pull it up high like this. Pull it up high and pull it up high, and then pull it up high at the end. Find it just makes it a lot easier for yourself to get your puffs through. All right, keep going around. Nice and high, and then it just glides through. Try to get your stitches nice and consistent in size and height. Working on your tension is always important to getting your stitches looking nice and even. Making sure you're going into the right spot too is also important. So with these puff stitches, we're going into the tops of our double crochets from our first round. Also find if you angle your hook on the right angle, it makes it nice and easy to get through that puff stitch too when you're pulling through all 7. So I yarn over and I like to turn my hook just on that angle. Not straight down, just sort of on a little bit of a angle down, and it just helps you get it through and nice and gliding. Here's where some hooks are better than other hooks for going through stitches like puffs. If you've got a bit of a rough metal hook or a rough plastic hook, you might find it a bit harder to get through your puffs without catching your yarn. So now I've finished this round and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 puff stitches. Now I've got to join here to here. To join, I'm going to put my hook into the start, the top of the first stitch, the top of the first puff, which is just here. Got my hook into the top there, and I've got my working loop on my hook. I'm going to yarn over and pull through both, so a slip stitch to close that round. And then I'm going to cut that off and change colour again, leaving a little bit of a tail to weave in. I've got my cut yarn now and I'm on here. I'm just going to yarn over and pull that all the way through and pull that nice and tight, nice and secure there, like so. And that's my second round completed. Now I'm going to go back to this multicolour. Got to find the end of my yarn here. Bit of a mess going on here, just ignore that. All right, and I'm going to make a slip knot to join this next colour on again, like so. Now again, I have going to pick a different spot to start where I have, so I've got ends here and here and here and here. I'm going to go all the way up here this time. So with this one, oops, this cluster stitch, I'm not doing it in the top of the stitch, I'm doing it in the chain space. So nice and easy to find. Just pick any chain space you're ready to start in. I'm going to start here and I'm going to attach my yarn like that, and I'm going to leave it a little bit loose so I can keep my knot at the back. Going to chain 1 to attach my yarn and pull it nice and tight. Slide it right over to the side. Now I'm going to do a puff stitch, a cluster stitch. So to do that, I'm going to yarn over, insert my hook into the same space, yarn over and pull up a loop. And I'm going to yarn over and pull through just those first 2. And then I'm going to do that again. And I'm going to keep doing that until I have 5 loops on my hook. 4, 5. And then I'm going to, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to yarn over, pull through all 5 at once, and then I'm going to chain 1 to lock it and chain 2 to get me across to the next space without it curling. So I'll show you again. I yarn over, I go into my next chain gap, into here, and pull up a loop. I've got 3 on my hook. I'm going to yarn over and pull through the first 2. I have 2 on my hook now. Yarn over, insert into that same space and pull up a loop. Yarn over and pull through just the first 2. So I've got 3 on my hook now. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over and just through the first 2. So I've got 4, I've got to do 1 more. Yarn over and just through the first 2. So now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I yarn over and pull through all 5. I chain 1 to lock it and pull that tight, and chain another 1 to get me to my next space. So I keep doing this all the way around. When I'm doing this stitch, I'm pulling it up nice and high in between, and I'm getting my height the same for each stitch. See how they're all the same height? Just keeps your stitch looking nice and consistent. Pull it up nice and tall there. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on my hook. Yarn over and pull through all 5. Chain 1 to lock it. Chain another 1 to get to the next space. Got another knot in my yarn. Okay. All the way around until I've got 16. So yarn over into the next space and pull up a loop. Pull that up nice and high like that. Yarn over and pull through 2. In again, up nice and high, same height as this one. Pull through 2. Keeping it up nice and high and keeping them all the same height and consistency just makes your work look neater. Just keep practicing until you can get that consistency and the tension is the same. Just keep going around until you've completed your 16 clusters. Nearly there. Oops, I got all tangled up there. Once we finish this round, I'm going to make a separate video that shows you how to turn this circle into the square. And that is good for any granny square that starts off as a circle. The next video that I will show you, you can learn how to turn any circle into a square by following the same sort of principle as long as your stitch count is right. So this stitch that I'm doing now, the cluster, can also be referred to a half double crochet 4 together, because you're doing, essentially you're doing 1, 2, 3, 4 double crochets, but you're doing half of it and then you're joining them together. Just as something, if you see it in another pattern where it says double crochet 2 together, that's what this is doing. But we're doing 4. One more. Oh dear. Last one. Chain 2, and now I've got to join this to my first cluster here, so I'm going to go up to the top to that first chain 1 made. It's a bit tight, that's okay, because you want it tight to lock it, and join it with a slip stitch. And now I'm going to cut this colour off, leave a bit of a tail to sew in. So just yarn that over, pull it all the way through and pull it tight. Now I have finished my circle, and I'm going to show you in the next video how to turn it into a square. So I've got 2 squares done and 1 circle. We're going to turn that into the square.